What have I got myself into? These reptiles, these tegus, are going crazy in here. I sit in the other room on the computer working, and these guys are in here knocking things over, scratching. I can hear sounds like I have two kids in here, two 5-year-old kids going crazy. This guy is freaking bonkers. They have so much energy. This one keeps trying to break out of the room and going under the door, even though I have a makeshift system that keeps him from getting out, but he is constantly, the little red one, constantly trying to get out and scratching, and he's gotten out twice today, and I mean, they are a handful. I cannot get over these two tegus. They are so intensive on where they want to go and climbing and crawling and scratching. I mean, they have this whole room in here. I've got plastic tarp on the floor because they poop now whenever they want to, and that's fine as long as it's on the tarp or the plastic sheathing I have. I mean, I'm telling you, these two tegus have more energy, you know, like the two 5-year-old children. The other day, the big tegu, because I had this in the mouse, I had this piece of wood in the mouse cage for a little bit, and the mice really liked climbing on this, but they were covering it in doo-doo, and then see, he smells mice. Oh, don't bite that! Goodness! He's hungry, but I feed him so much. I'm trying to now break him down or feed him every couple of days. And I come in, he is just so hungry in just that short amount of time that he will charge me and come running at me. I mean, I'm not scared of him anymore. I can handle him, even though he thinks and he's going to act like he's going to, chomp on a mouse, and I'm not scared to pet him. If you just touch him in the right spot and he can't snap his head around, then I'm good with touching him. I mean, I wouldn't put my finger right in front of his mouth because he would probably chomp on my finger, but I'm cool with picking him up even though he's raging and ready to eat. He's a good boy. But yeah, I can't believe how much energy they have and where they just constantly are on the move and trying to go and do. But yeah, I mean, they knock over the water bottle, the basketball. They'll bring this all around the room in different parts of the room. I don't know, if they're walking on top of it, balancing. I haven't been watching the camera. And then they just come back over here and get all hot under the lamp. And then they roam around, crazy how much energy they have. And I have a radio in here now just playing, when they're up, I'm playing music at a low volume just to help them get used to voices and noise. And let me tell you, I had this moved this limb in here, and the big black and white tegu was all over this and pushing it all around the room and sticking his head, trying to get his head and flipping this over and over and making so much noise because he smelled mice. I guess the mice that I raised to feed all these critters has the smell of mice on it. But there he is. They are just going crazy in here. And that's Mac. I named my 27, 28 inch tegu black and white. He's Mac. Man, he's got a lot of personality. And then my little red tegu is named Rosie. And this little critter is all over. I can't let them roam in the house. This is just kept in this room. They have to be kept in rooms where the doors are shut because I live in an older home, and there's the potential for, little cracks and spaces and little areas in my cabinets that aren't closed up tight that they can get into and then possibly get outside. So I have to keep them to a room, and this little one will get in a box. If I had some of the rooms, I have some boxes, and he'll find his way into the boxes. Literally one day I couldn't find the larger Tegu, and he was in one of my room with a bunch of different boxes, and I thought I lost him. I thought somehow he got out of the room, somehow, you never know. So I was looking around everywhere, kind of in a panic, looking in the different boxes in the content, and then I've got this box with a whole bunch of wires in there, and his tail looks just like the wires. He had crawled in there and investigated, and when I came in, this is what I saw, and I was like, oh my God, there you are. Woo! I thought I'd lost him. So just crazy. And I mean, literally find his way into everything. He loves to get into spaces and then get into smaller spaces and crawl all around, and he's just full of energy. Major handful. He will go under that door. As you can see, I have a board under there, the door gap, that he can wiggle his way out, and he will actually push that board underneath that door out and away so he can squirm under that door. And he'll do that literally 5 minutes after I catch him and put him back in here, and then he will do it again. And I'm even on the other side of the door when I hear him scratching, and I know he's working his way out. I'll get under the door and I'll puff air out of my mouth and scare him and try to scare him away from the door, and I'll actually kick the door and make a loud noise, and he'll run away and come right back and try to get under the door. But I'm telling you, these little things are just a headache almost. Man, I almost unfortunate, or I feel, like I shouldn't have gotten two. There's a long story behind why I have two. I never intended to have two of these guys, and this girl and the guy, but I have two of them now, and I do like them. But if perfect world, I would only need one, and I'm not going to, plan on breeding them. So let me flip my camera around. Yeah, it's hot in here. I got it in what I designate as the reptile room. I got the humidifier in here, and I have the vents in the ceiling closed off. And so it gets, probably 85 degrees in here with pretty high humidity, 60% minimally, hopefully. I want to keep it around 60 or 70. So it gets pretty hot in here pretty quickly. So they like it in here, and the snake likes it in here, and they're doing well. But whew, and it looks like they knocked all their water over. Okay, never ends. For anyone also want to add, anyone watching this video, I don't have a lot of people that watch my videos, at least my reptile videos. But if you're tuning this channel and you're thinking about getting a Tegu, my experience is these Tegus take a lot of time. Due to the COVID virus and all this BS, sickness and shit going around, I'm not working as much, so I have more time, and I'm typically, when I'm not traveling for my work, which was cut down massively, and still is pretty much, so I'm home a lot. If I was traveling and doing what I was doing normally, it would be very, very hard to keep these animals, reptiles, but since I'm home a lot, it affords me the time. These animals are full time. If I wasn't at home as much as I was, then it would be very difficult to keep these animals, because the amount of attention that they take, as far as keeping their enclosures clean, picking up their poop and their waste, and cleaning their water bowls. If you've watched videos, they'll just shred their water bowls in a matter of hours. So, you got to replace their water a couple times a day. and really maintain them. If they were stuck in their cage and for 15 hours or 18 hours or a day and a night, it would be very hard for them. And then they could get hurt, or they won't have a good life. They take full time, and these Tegus are just super labor intensive. Just don't think you're going to get one, because in 6 months, when you get it when it's 12 inches, and then in 6 months when it's 2.5 feet, and then in a year when it's 3 feet, you're gonna have a lot on your hands. A lot to do. Let me move my camera up. He's sweet, but they are just all over the place, and very labor intensive. And I don't think a lot of people think that. My boa is super easy. I could be gone for a week and leave him in his cage for a week and no worries. A snake is no problem whatsoever, but these lizards are like little children, and they get into everything, and they need around-the-clock attention, and they can get hurt and kill themselves if they get outside and get out a crack in your wall, or a crack somewhere in your house, or they climb up something and they fall off and they injure themselves. So I just wanted to share my experience. They're very cool and very rewarding. My camera's on facial lock, and that's why it's not really pivoting very well. But Tegus are fun, but just be aware that they take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And then you need to take care of them and buy all the right lights. I've probably got about $600 into aquariums and lights, and the UVB light that I have is $70, and I have 2 of them. Very expensive. And then the food, they eat a lot of food, fresh vegetables. I don't feed mine a lot of vegetables, but a lot of fruit. Mice, I bought baby mice, and now I raise mice, and so I've got that expense, and I've got 3 mice, and they have like 20 babies every week, and I don't like killing the babies, and it's hard for me to feed the mice to these reptiles. I don't really like doing that anymore, but it would get very expensive buying mice at $5 a pop, whereas I bought 3 mice for $6 a pop, and I have an unlimited supply of mice. But this thing is all over me, and is really cool. I mean, he's really personable, likes to be around me and climbs, and then my little one, the red one, is just bonkers. He goes non-stop everywhere. Let me try to pick him up. Let me put the big one down. There we go. Go down. The young one, the little female, hates to be picked up. Hates me. I mean, just smells me. Well, put up with me. When I was standing doing the video, she was smelling my leg and acting like she wanted to come up my leg. But as soon as I turn my attention to her and she sees my hand coming at her, I mean, no matter how slow I am, she'll look at, like, she's not a biter, and that's good. But she'll look at my hand and wiggle her tail like a little S, slow motion. That's when they're really agitated. But she's not hostile. She just does not like to be touched. Now watch. Now when I touch her, she bumps up, she arches her back. Now if I pick her up, she will squirm like nobody's business, like I am trying to eat her in one bunch, but she's really fast. And so just know what you're getting into. You don't know what personality Tegu you're gonna get. So you can get one and have a lot of work ahead of you, or you can get one that's really easy to manage and really easy to handle. But yeah, I mean, I guess they're just like people with different personalities. But I'm really happy that I got this guy, even though he is massively... Now, if I put my finger right in front of him, he would bite my hand. But as long as you come up behind him and then touch him and you let him know that you're holding on to him, then he will let you pick him up. So he will let you pick him up, scratch him, rub him. You just got to be real careful how you go up to him. You don't want to put your hand, like it's a food source. But he will come after you. And then something that I've learned that when I come in, if I get down lower and I sit on my knees, then and then I don't fear that he's going to try to bite my toes, or if I don't have shoes on, I just squat down onto my knees, and then he totally changes his personality. But if I'm standing and my toes, I don't have shoes on and my toes are there, he'll go crazy and chase my toes thinking they're food. But as long as I get down a little bit lower and I come into him, he's pretty sweet. All right, now I'm out of the reptile room, but you can see the extent that I go to keep them happy. That room with high moisture and high heat, you just got to keep it a little bit more warmer than what a human being's used to in the air conditioner on that takes out the humidity. So I'm working really, really hard to give them a nice big space to hang out in. When they're younger, definitely keep them in a smaller enclosure. But with the amount of energy that these little two characters that I have, having them in, a 4 foot by 6 foot or 4 foot by 8 foot would be hard to even keep them in that. They are bouncing around that, maybe 14 by 10 or 14 or maybe 20 by 10 room. I don't know what the size of it is, I'm just guessing. But it's not a super small room, but they are all over that place. And if I could actually, put some more rocks in there and I didn't have carpet in there and I could put, put some more bark and stuff and things around there and, kind of run around on, it would be really, really cool. But I don't have that opportunity right now to do that, but make a full reptile room it'd be really, really cool. But so that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully someone finds this helpful. They are really, really, really cool reptiles to have, and I think more enjoyable than the snake, definitely than the snakes I've had, 'cause you just hold them and kind of get a little bit bored with them and then put them down. They're neat to look at, but these reptiles are very, very cool because they crawl around and they want to go look around. Now the little one's probably trying to get out from under the door. I hear him scratching. So other than that, I'll say bye-bye and end the video. Like I said, the boa just hangs out in his terrarium, and he's just no effort whatsoever. Pop a mouse in there while he's young every 2 weeks, and you don't have to worry about them. But I try to hold him every couple of days just to keep him, make sure he's aware who I am and my smell, so he's not aggressive or doesn't get aggressive in the future. But the next photo is my larger one and the smaller one in the tub. About every day, every morning I put the bigger one in the bathtub with some shallow, warm water, warm to the touch, and he typically goes poo-poo in the bathtub, and makes it very easy just to wash out and wash it down the drain, because it can be quite extensive, the size of his poop and the content. So I put him in there, and then
I put the red one in there, and the smaller red one doesn't like the water nearly as much as the black and white does. The black and white is clearly at home in the water. The red, as you can see in the photo, is trying to get out of the water and basically just riding on the back of the black and white tegu as he walks around in the water. It's quite funny. And then the next photo is, I've had this in the other videos, is they get on that basketball. I have this little basketball that I roll around on for my back, and I have that in the room. And they will, if it's just a basketball in the center of the room on the floor, they'll come in there and they'll be sitting on top of the basketball. And then also too, I never know when I go in there where they are, what they're sitting on, if they're trying to get in a shoe or get in a box, or they're hanging off the ledge by one claw dangling, off the ledge, or it's just very, very comical every time I go in there, seeing, when I walk in, they look up like I caught them in the act of doing something. But yeah, pretty funny. Okay.